Getting into the rave scene has changed my life for the best. I have met so many friends. I have had tons and tons of amazing opportunities and experiences that I will never give back. But what they don't tell you is the downside and negativity that is associated with the rave culture itself. My name is Gnarlax from Soundfire Media, and today we're going to take a deep dive into what they don't want to really talk about. We're going to go over the top 10 red flags that I wish I knew personally before I got started into the rave scene. Red flag number 1. It's literally so expensive. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the worst hobbies to have and be so passionate about for this year of 2025. Being a raver just costs so much damn money nowadays. Festival tickets are expensive, especially if you're gonna travel from out of state. Those tickets cost like $200, and that's being very generous. They go up to $300, $400, $500, sometimes even $1,000, which is insane. That doesn't even include lodging if you want to stay at a hotel, and also the travel just to get there. If it's either by airplane or driving, you're still spending money to get there. Then once you're there, you have to buy all your food, perhaps some new outfits, artist merch. Don't even get me started on artist merch. Yes, it's so cool and all, but wow, is it so expensive? Jerseys that cost $80 up to $120. If you're one that can still afford it, I applaud you, because that's nuts. If you're like me, you like to go to raves and shows almost every week. And if there's 1 or 2 shows every week and you want to go because of FOMO, you don't want to miss out, and you're buying tickets every week, it's gonna add up. Okay, let's do some simple math here, right? If there's 52 weeks in a year, we times that by the average ticket of $25 per week, and that's only once per week. You're spending $1,300 on weekly shows for an entire year alone. Red flag number 2, there's a lot of drug use in the scene. I know this is kind of like a touchy subject. People honestly don't really want to talk about it, but I feel more people should talk about it. It sucks that if you tell somebody that doesn't rave that you're a raver, what is their first thought? Oh, you probably do drugs, you probably do ketamine, you probably pop Molly, you're probably tripping on acid. And while they might be right, they might have a totally misunderstanding of why people do it and how much people do it, and just in general for that sense. The downside of the drug use thing is sometimes it does become a problem for users. There has been multiple accounts at a lot of festivals of overdoses, of people mixing drugs when they are not supposed to, people not testing their drugs, getting sent to the hospital, not feeling good. And a lot of people just don't know their limits. They get so sauced at a festival that for other people it's just not enjoyable for them. There's a lot of cool organizations like Dance Safe, like End Overdose, that are doing their best to give people a better hope when it comes to testing their drugs, being mindful of others, being safe and responsible. But for the most part, a lot of these kids that go to raves, they are not that careful about it. I remember when I first started raving, a lot of my friends wanted to like pop Molly and roll at the festival, which I get it, it makes it more fun when you're first starting off. That's what everybody does, so you want to do it too. But it comes to a point where you do so much Molly that your body requires more Molly the next time just to achieve that same roll, and next thing you know, you're taking higher doses, you're taking higher quantities, you're doing more often throughout the day, and next thing you know, it becomes very dangerous and you might overdose and pass out, get sent to the hospital. And that's the last thing we want to see, is people dropping like flies at a festival, because it's very sad, and I don't wish anybody to die from doing drugs at events. Number 3, it promotes unhealthy habits. Unfortunately, when you go to raves, there's this whole like culture and notion of going on a bender, going for like a 3-4 day festival, and every day of the festival you're just getting as messed up as possible. You're not eating that good, you're drinking very little water, you're just downing a lot of alcohol here and there, you're doing drugs, you're vaping, you're smoking, you're staying up late, you are just not taking care of yourself at all. And unfortunately, that promotes bad habits within the scene. Of course, everybody's an adult, you can do whatever you want, you can have as much fun however you want, but there definitely has to be some kind of like limits for people, just so they can better take care of their bodies. It's not a bad thing to have fun. The only thing is, don't make it this, your whole persona of every single weekend you're drinking, you're vaping, you're getting blacked out, you're doing drugs every single weekend. That kind of stuff can lead to long-term effects and damages within your body if you're not careful and if you don't do stuff in limitation. The last thing you want to deal with is like a drug addiction, right? Where like you can't stop doing drugs because of like drugs are so heavily associated with going out to these raves, going out to these festivals. I've always heard these stories about like people that do so much ketamine that like they don't even remember anything. They just get always in these K-holes at events. They get dragged out unconscious, don't know what's going on. And it just becomes very sad to see, you know, especially with people that love doing nitrous. Like if you don't know what nitrous oxide is, it's basically like funny gas that people inhale through their mouth. That by itself is so addicting. And I know people that can kill entire 20-pound tanks of doing nitrous oxide on the weekends, every weekend. And it's not just that, like they do that plus all the drinking, all the going out, all the not taking care of their body. And it's sad to see people go down that path and not take care of themselves. I definitely think that we can do better as a whole community, and I wish this would be talked about way more often. Red flag number 4 is unfortunately Wooks. Why Wooks though? I feel like Wooks get a really bad rep within the rave culture and festival scene, but it's not for nothing, you know? I personally think actual Wooks, not people that dress up as hippies that have dreads and the harem pants, you know, those people are cool, but like there's people that are just legit Wooks, super dirty, don't wear deodorant, they get too messed up. Those are the people that are mixing all their drugs, and their whole goal at an event and at a festival is to see how messed up they can get and make other people uncomfortable around them. Not only that, but these are your typical people that you think you can rely on them, you think they're your friend, right? But next thing you know, they're bumming everything off of you, they're bumming your money, they're bumming your extra party favors, they're bumming you as a whole as a friend. You know that? You might be camping with some of these Wooks in your area at festivals, you go out to have some fun, you come back, people went through your stuff in your camping area, they slash your tents, they get into your things, your belongings are gone, and that sucks, man. I have been in that situation before where I go and have some fun, go watch a few sets, come back, and I'm missing things, and I'm asking my friends, yo, did you see anybody grab this? And nobody knows anything, and like a lot of our things are gone, and it's just so sad to see. Red flag number 5 has to be the late night events. So unfortunately for myself, I wake up very early and go to work. I'm also about to be 30 soon, which that's not good. But the downside with that is that all of these events start at nighttime, especially with the weekend shows. They almost always start at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and they go all the way until 3 a.m. A lot of us sometimes have to work early the next day, and if you want to catch your favorite artist play, you're gonna lose a lot of sleep a lot of times as well, not just that weekend. I don't know about you, but I like to go to bed early sometimes, like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., get my full night's rest, feel good the next day. And if I have to go to bed like at 4 a.m. when I get home from the rave, that's not possible, especially if I have to go to work at 7 a.m., be at work at 8 a.m. Forget about it, dude. I think in 2025, events should maybe start a little bit earlier. Like, I get it, okay, maybe like not that early when there's still sunlight out, but maybe like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., you're home by like what, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. at the latest maybe. I know not everybody's gonna like that, but with a lot of people that have a lot of responsibilities in life, they would appreciate going home earlier, but that's just my opinion. Red flag number 6 has to be after parties. I know what you're gonna say, you know, oh, you're a lame, what do you mean after parties are a red flag, dude? You're just a fucking grandpa, blah blah blah. Look, after parties are fun. I like to still go to after parties, but the only bad thing about after parties as a red flag is like how late people want to keep partying till. We've all seen those memes, you know, the rave's over, you're under the influence and whatnot, you still want to have some fun, you're hitting up all your friends, yo, afters question mark, where the afters at, dude? You go out, you still hang out, you keep partying, next thing you know, birds are chirping, the sunlight's out, 7 a.m. joggers are out doing their thing, and you're still in somebody's random kitchen, off of your mind about some business adventure that you want to go on with your best friend, and you're literally regret everything the next day. You take that Uber ride home of shame and you literally regret everything. It's mainly a red flag because it promotes like the continuous use of people that want to keep getting fucked up, doing drugs, drinking more, you know, staying up later and later, maybe even keep doing that partying till like 3 p.m., 6 p.m. if you're that much of a crackhead. And your sleep schedule is absolutely cooked, dude. After parties are fun, but only in moderation perhaps, you know? This leads us to our next red flag, number 7, the calm down. When you're living this kind of lifestyle of constantly partying, constantly drinking, constantly going out, constantly not getting enough sleep and doing X, Y, and Z and etc., you're bound to feel like absolute dog poop, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you went to an after party and you're coming down from all the stuff you were doing from partying and it's all going to add up, and you're definitely not gonna like it. I personally have developed really bad anxiety from all the years of going out and drinking and just putting my body through the absolute fire of partying. I quite literally developed anxiety. I used to have really bad come downs, you know, you're hungover the next day, you're not getting enough sleep, your body's all tingling and you don't feel good. And I get that, right? You're hungover because your body's trying to get rid of all those toxins that are in your system. You're deprived of water, you're deprived of sleep, you don't feel well. But for me, it got so bad to the point where I literally developed anxiety for the rest of the day. And trust me, I don't wish anybody in this world to have anxiety because it is very hard to deal with. I've been going to raves since like I was 18, and all the way up to I would say 25, 26, no anxiety whatsoever. Until I hit 27, 28, 29, I had some pretty bad anxiety from how much I was partying. And it's unfortunate because I just now have that on a weekly if I even decide to have a few drinks, you know? Red flag number 8 has to be normal music is ruined for myself. Once you get into this whole hobby of raving, listening to all the different genres within like dubstep and everything, like you really find like a deep passion and love for the music, for the culture, for the scene, why people do everything and come together to these parties and just experience and celebrate life. But by doing that, all the regular music that I used to listen to, at least for myself, is ruined. Regular clubs are ruined, but you know what? I used to hate those. So like, this is so much better going to raves, going to events and concerts. But I personally cannot listen to normal hip hop, normal rap and stuff like that. It has to be incorporated into like EDM, you know? Like if it's a remix of like a song that I used to like, I really like it. But if it's like normal albums nowadays, I just don't listen to that kind of stuff anymore. All I listen to is just EDM pretty much, essentially. Sometimes I try to branch out into like breakcore, wave, things like that are kind of a little bit similar to electronic music still. But for the most part, all the normie music, I just cannot listen to that anymore. Red flag number 9 has to be genre wars. So it's really not that bad, you know, because every single niche community is gonna have its toxic people. It's gonna have those bad apples that are just absolute vibe killers. But we definitely have those here in the rave scene, especially on Twitter and social media and the comments of people. There's just always wars in the comments. House people shitting on dubstep people shitting on trance people shitting on DMB, and vice versa. A lot of folks that want to keep the underground only underground still and not thriving, have those artists grow and be bigger. They gatekeep a lot of artists, a lot of IDs, a lot of music. They don't want it to get mainstream, because if it does get like really mainstream, then it becomes ruined and it's not underground no more and it's not cool. And I feel like that's kind of silly in my opinion, especially when it comes to like artist elitists and genre elitists. There is literally no need for that kind of stuff. Why are you mean on the internet? Like, just live your life and be happy. Another thing I noticed, if you like a particular artist, you would literally get shit on for liking that artist. I think a good example that I can find is perhaps like Excision or like Illenium and people like that, you know, artists with very big fan bases. The fans from other genres that don't revolve around those genres itself, they're just gonna shit on you and look at you like, bro, why do you listen to that guy? That dude's mainstream, that music sucks, his music sucks, why do you even listen to it? And they will straight up tell you these things online. Of course they wouldn't tell you that in person at an actual rave or festival, but when you see those kind of comments online, it really sometimes gets to you, especially when this scene is supposed to be about plur, spreading love, spreading peace and stuff like that, all about the community, and those bad apples just ruin it sometimes for everybody. Here is red flag number 10, hearing loss. I'm pretty sure this one is by no surprise at all. When you listen to bass music, when you're at festivals, when you're at shows, and they have those big speaker rigs at the front of the event, they're gonna be loud, and sometimes they're too loud for your ear, especially at festivals. That's why you see all these companies and promoters always telling people, hey, if you're gonna come to the event, please wear earplugs and protect your ears. Tinnitus is a real thing, and I know a few people that have suffered through that, suffered damages in their ears, and that's not something you want to deal with. If for a lot of these ravers that are starting young at 20, 23, 25, like you are still very young, you still have have your whole life ahead of yourself, and you don't want to cause damage right now in your early stages that's gonna, you know, affect you in the long run. Especially, I think like a safe decibel amount is like 85 if I'm not mistaken, and sometimes these festivals get to like 90 to 100 decibels, and at that point that's when it causes damage to your ears. So the best advice that I can tell people is to please wear earplugs. Yes, you want to feel the bass, you like it when it's played very loud at events, but at the same time, it's not always what's best for you and your ears. You don't have to wear the earplugs the whole time if you're kind of far away into the crowd and whatnot, and it's not hurting your ears, but you will definitely know if it's too loud or if it's too much for your ears, because you will feel bothered by it, and at that point you want to put those earplugs in, and it's better to be safe. The good thing is earplugs are not that expensive. Sometimes they go for like 25 bucks, the more nicer ones are like 50, 75 bucks even, but at that point it's just a good investment to have for yourself and for your life in the long run. All right, that wraps it up for the top 10 red flags I wish I knew personally before I got into the rave scene. I know for this video itself, we covered a lot of bad things, but when I said in the very beginning, the rave scene has changed my life for the best, I mean it. And the upside of being a raver nowadays is 3, 4, 5, 10 times way better than the negativity that is sometimes associated with being a raver. We will make a video about that, and it will come soon, so don't you worry. So what do you guys think about the top 10 red flags? Do you think I was on point, or was I wrong with my opinion? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. And if I missed anything, maybe I'll make a part 2 and make a longer video, who knows. I'm Gnarlax from Soundfire Media. Thank you guys for checking in, and I'll see you in the next video.